welcome you all to the Sunday Bhagavad Gita classes. So, we are in the chapter 2 of Bhagavad Gita, and the division of chapter 2 is Gita, Gita. G stands for
Guru.
Guru. Arjuna accepting Krishna as his spiritual
Guru.
master. And I stands for
Identity.
identity. What is our real identity?
We are the soul, not the
We
body.
are the soul, we are not the body. And T stands for two dharmas. What are
Two
the two
dharmas, yeah.
dharmas? One is Swadharma, because
Swadharma
of
and
our
one.
own constitutional bodily position we have. So we all do duties according to our Varnashrama dharma. So some of us are doing a duty of a Kshatriya, Brahmana, Vaishya or Shudra, and according to our ashrama, and according to our prescribed duty as a housewife, as a working woman, as a daughter-in-law, as a mother. So we are all supposed to do our own duties. And there is another duty also which most of us miss out in this world. And what is that? Parodharma, the dharma towards Krishna. What is our
Guru.
real constitutional position? We are all the eternal servants of Krishna. Jivera Swarupa Hoy, Krishnera Nityadas. So, being his eternal servant, we are supposed to serve Krishna in all walks of our life. And then A stands for Atmarama, a person who is Krishna conscious. How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he sit? How does he behave? If a person is a devotee, it is manifested through some symptoms.
Hmm.
You just cannot be devotee and you can speak harsh words and do whatever you want. If you have fever, the symptom is you're feeling hot, right? And you're not able to eat. You're feeling dull, you're feeling tired. So, similarly, if you're a devotee, also you have certain symptoms. So, this is a question which Arjuna asked. How does he walk? How does he talk? How does he behave? And that is called Sthita Prajna, a person who is situated in Krishna consciousness. How does he behave? So, in short, Gita, the second chapter of Bhagavad Gita, is a summary of the overall Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is giving all the topics that he would be presenting in Bhagavad Gita. However, Arjuna will have several questions on whatever the topics that is discussed by Krishna, and it will continue on and on. Arjuna will ask questions from Krishna based on whatever Krishna has said, and Krishna will answer. So Bhagavad Gita is also a question and answer. It is about a atato brahma jigyasa. It's an inquiry. So the spiritual inquiry should be there. We should all have the inquiry to know about why are we suffering in the world? Why am I subjected to birth, death, old age, and disease? Why am I subjected to threefold miseries? Sometimes I'm disturbed because of my own mind. Sometimes I'm disturbed because of other living entity, and sometimes I'm disturbed because of the natural disasters. So we as a human being should try to solve the problems of the world, which is these are all the permanent problems. The other problems, whatever we face through, they are not permanent. They may be the temporary problems. But the problem in this world is most of the time we are stuck with our temporary problems, right? We try to make some material adjustments and we think that is all in all. So in the beginning of the chapter, we saw that Arjuna's eyes was filled with tears. Why was he filled with tears? Because he was not ready to fight against his own people, against
People.
his own guru, against his own teacher, and against his own friends and relatives. And immediately Krishna is chastising him. Kutasva kashmalamidam. How come such a dirty thing has come in you? You are an Arya, an Anarya, but you're behaving like an Arya, uncivilized person. And even if a Kshatriya dies in the battle, he will get Swarga. And Arjuna will not even get Akirti, a Swarga. So he cannot even go to Swarga or Akirti. A Kshatriya leaving the battlefield is considered to be abominable, right? Nobody will say in future that, Arjuna was so compassionate and he lived. They all will say that Arjuna was a darpok. He came to the battlefield, and then he left the battlefield. So
Left
that
the
is not going to help him. And in the following sloka, he further chastised him, saying that he is like behaving like a man who is impotent. So that is a very heavy chastising word which Krishna is using on Arjuna. And Arjuna, knowing his despondency, he knows that he is not able to make proper decision because he is in such a confused state that at that particular situation, what did Arjuna do? He surrendered to Krishna. He
Krishna.
accepted himself as his guru because previously the relation between Krishna and Arjuna was like a friend. So you may not take the talk between the friends very serious. Therefore, Arjuna is saying, Yes, Shreyasya Nichitam Bruhitanmi. Please let me know what is good for me in the long term. Shreyas means long term. I know in the current situation, I am not able to make decision. But for the future, what is that which is best for me? Sishyaste aham shadi mam tvam prapannam. So please accept me as your disciple. Karpanya dosho. I am overcome by the miserly weakness. Who is called a miser? A person who has all the wealth but he cannot spend. Here,
Spend.
Arjuna is also comparing himself with the miser because he has all the strength to fight in the battlefield. Even he has won against demigods and he has won against Shiva. He has got immense power. In spite of all the powers that Arjuna is having, still he is very overwhelmed and confused. So it's a Karpanya dosha. So similarly, in the purport, Prabhupada also said that those human beings who are not taking up devotional service, we are also compared to the misers. Because this particular human form of life is for us to understand our real self and go back home, back to Godhead. And we have all the facilities to do that. In spite of having all the facilities, if we are not utilizing it, then what does that mean? That means we are also misers,
Maisa.
not utilizing the human form of life. And then we saw that Krishna is now talking as a spiritual master. So immediately again Krishna gives heavy chastisement to Arjuna, saying that Ashoshan Anvasochasva Pragnya Bhadamsha Bhashase Gatasuna Agatasumsha Nana Sochati Pandita. So you're lamenting for something that is not worth. So Krishna is saying, Arjuna, in short, that you are lamenting for something which is already dead. The body is dead. It's only the soul that is making the body alive. So he is lamenting for something that is temporary. So Krishna is chastising him. And in the following sloka, Krishna also talks about the individuality of the soul. Yes, it is the body. The death is only for the body, whereas the soul was there, the soul is there, and the soul will continue to remain.
It's
Natvevaham jatunasam natve neme janadipa. Krishna says, I existed, you existed. You're existing, I'm existing. You will exist, and I will also exist. So all the kings, everybody who is present in the battlefield, they were existing, they are existing, and they will continue to exist. And in the following sloka, Krishna gives a very beautiful analogy of the change of the body. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tata dehantara prapti dhiras tatrana muhyati. Even within the same lifetime, are we not seeing that our body is changing?
Yes, Mataji.
But we know we are the same. If you're taking the picture of your 2-year-old, you will not be able to recognize that was you. Your body has totally changed, but that doesn't mean that you became somebody different. You're the same. So similarly, at the time of death, the soul leaves one body and takes another body. So this is nothing but just the change of the body. Like how it is happening during the life, it also happens during the death.
it.
And then, so, but what is Arjuna said? But Krishna, I am attached to their current bodies because
But
they are my relatives, they are my teachers. So, therefore, Krishna is saying, Matra Sparshasta Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkata, Agama Apaino Anitya Tam Titisha Shva Bharata. Just like the season changes, sometimes it is summer, sometimes it is winter. So similarly, sometimes we are happy and sometimes we are in distress. So these are all anitya, they are all temporary changes. So what did Krishna say, Arjuna? You should learn to tolerate such disturbances, such temporary disturbances. So please learn to tolerate. So that's what Krishna is telling to Arjuna. Even for us to lose a loved one, it's not easy. Knowing all the philosophy, knowing that the body changes, but still we have a personal relationship with that particular person. So we will miss
Yeah.
their presence. So it is not going to be very easy, but all we need to do is we should learn to tolerate. And in the following sloka, Krishna is talking about the first qualification for liberation. If liberation means coming out of the cycle of repeated birth and
Both
death.
and the
So what is the first qualification is samadukka sukham. We should take both happiness and distress in a same way. How can that happen? That can only happen when we have an act of tolerance.
tolerance power.
So previously, Krishna is introducing the concept of tolerance, and in the next sloka, is talking about equanimity, where we can take both happiness and distress in a same way. And in the following sloka, Krishna is also talking about that the eternity of the soul. It is only the body that dies, whereas the soul always remains. And in the following sloka, Krishna is also talking about the nature of the soul. The soul is all pervading, and nobody can destroy this imperishable soul. Like the sunlight, sun is very, very far from us. And we can see from our eyes that sun looks very small from in our eyes, but in spite of that, is the light from the sun illuminating the entire planet? So similarly, the soul which is present in the heart of the body, although it is very, very small, what is the size of the soul?
1/10,000 the tip of the hair.
1 by 10,000th time
Thousand
of the
times
tip of the
tip of
hair.
the hair.
Even though it is very small, its presence is felt in terms of consciousness. What is the difference between a dead person and a person who is alive?
Consciousness.
Consciousness. If a mosquito is biting you, you may sue that mosquito. But if a person is dead, can he sue out? He does not have any sense. So it is that consciousness
Senses
which is
and
making the change. And he's further talking about the qualities of the soul. The soul is indestructible. Nothing can destroy the soul, nor the fire, nor the weapon, nor the heat. Nothing can cut the soul. And immeasurable. Why it is immeasurable? Because the size of the soul is really, really very small.
Very,
And
very
it
small.
is
small.
eternal. It is nitya. The soul, somebody asks, when did I come to existence? Maybe your existence, you can tell as per your body, you are born on such and such time in the present body. But actually, your existence is also Sanatana. You have been existing always, not just now. We have been always existing. Like Krishna is primeval, the soul is also primeval because we are all part and parcel of
Also not
Krishna.
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 And there. So, neither so it is, and in the following sloka, Krishna is also say that there is no birth or there is no death for the soul. So when there is no birth for the soul, then there is also no death. He has not come into being, does not come into being, and will not come into being. And he is unborn, eternal, ever existing, and primeval. And he is not slain when the body is slain. So, if Arjuna is killing the people in the battlefield, that is only their bodies, but nothing will happen to their soul. So, does that mean that we can kill anybody invariably,
No.
indiscriminately? So we say
No.
that, Krishna said that, we are not the body, we are the soul. Actually, even if I kill, I'm not killing. So if you have any enmity towards any person, can you just take a gun and shoot that person?
No,
No.
Mataji.
So it should be authorized like the war field, because what kind of yuddha it is? It is a dharma yuddha. To establish the dharma, a Kshatriya is supposed to fight.
Fight.
This is his prescribed duty for a Kshatriya. Even a violence has utility here, right? Everything has utility in the world. So similarly, violence also has some Utility.
Utility.
So, like a same a person who is in the army, if he is killing the enemies, he is given Paramveer Chakra. But the same person, if he kills his neighbor because he had some dispute with him, will he be given Paramveer Chakra or will he be given admission in the jail?
Admission in the jail.
Because he is not authorized.
Okay.
In the war field, he is authorized to kill the enemies. But at home, near the neighbor, he doesn't have any authority to kill that
Kill.
particular person. So, killing is not indiscriminately done, but it is done by authority. So, even the animal killing, so because some people have the propensity to eat the animals or in the tamoguna, so that facility is given under the Vedic injunction, but under certain condition. You're not supposed to eat meat throughout the month. You can only accept meat, a portion of a meat, a piece of a meat on the day of a new moon day, Amavasya. And that is also done by elaborate sacrifice. They have to call the brahmanas, they have to do the sacrifice. Such an elaborate arrangement is made so that they can take a piece of meat.
Piece of meat.
That is only allowed under certain condition, not indiscriminately, because some people say, animal killing is also accepted in the Vedas. Yes, they are accepted in Vedas, but under certain condition, not indiscriminately, that anytime you can walk in the outlets like KFC and McDonald and just order and eat it. Not like that. Okay. So a person, and he's also talking about further qualities of the soul, that the soul is indestructible, eternal, unborn, immutable. And in the following, sloka number 22, Krishna is giving another very beautiful analogy where he is giving an analogy of the garment. So if your garment becomes old, what do? You discard the garment and then you buy a new one. So what is the criteria to buy a new garment? Whenever you're going for shopping to buy clothes, what is the criteria? Two criteria, like one is according to your budget. You may have certain amount which is allotted for shopping
And what I like.
and whatever you like. So similarly, what is taking us to another body? One is our
Karma and
karma,
desire.
another is our desire. So according to our desire, we get another body. But even though we desire, we can only enjoy how much our karma is allowing us. If the karma balance is not there, then you cannot enjoy. You may like to fly in the first class, but if you're not having that much amount of money in your bank balance, then will you be able to fly in the first class? You cannot
No.
fly.
No.
You may probably go in the economy or premium economy based on your budget. So
Budget.
this is what you're allotted. And Krishna is talking about the soul cannot be cut to pieces by any weapons, not burned by fire, not moistened by water, not withered by the wind. So this is very important thing. When the soul is not moisture, when the soul is not insoluble, when the soul cannot be merged, then that Mayavad philosophy that everything becomes one after die, it is not applicable because the individuality always remains. The soul cannot be made soluble, right? It cannot merge. Like if you put sugar in the water, the identity of the sugar vanishes because sugar is soluble in water.
Water.
But if you're putting oil in the water, can the oil be ever made soluble in the water?
No.
No, Mataji.
It will remain. The particles of oil will always remain because it is insoluble.
Insoluble.
So similarly, the soul, even though you may burn the soul or some people throw it in the ocean, like Parsis, they throw the bodies for the vultures and some creatures to eat. Some people burn it, some people they put it in the mud. So whatever you do, but ultimately that is only for the body. And in sloka number 24, he is further talking about the unbreakable, and soul is unbreakable, insoluble,
Insoluble
cannot
and
be
not
burnt
can
or
be burnt.
dried, and he is everlasting and he is present everywhere.
Everywhere.
Sarvagata. So that means there is living entity all over the planets. So just the scientists saying that the living entity is only on earth, that is also not accept. If in the earth we have earthly bodies, which is more gross, but in other planets we may have more subtle bodies. Like in the sun planet, there is sun god, Vivasva. That means even in the sun planet, they're all living entities, but they will have their body more fiery body. Of the five elements, our body, the maximum component is earth. But in the sun planet, the body is the fiery body.
Fire.
So this is the, they have different condition. Like the fish can live in water, but we cannot live in water.
Mm.
If somebody has never seen a fish in their life and they say that they're all living entity even in the water, will you believe it?
No.
We will say,
No,
don't joke.
Mataji.
Even if I drown for 2 minutes in the water, I will die. Oh, come on, you're just joking because of our ignorance. So similarly, because of our ignorance, we think that there is no living entity in other planets. If that is the say, then Krishna would have not used the word Sarvagata. Right? We also see sometimes, even within the cement in the corners, we see some small plants coming out.
Yeah.
So we do not see any particular conditions, favorable for that plant to grow, but we see some living entities living there, right? Even within the air, there are microbes living. Corona
Yeah.
was living, nobody can see, but Corona's presence was felt, right? So,
Mm.
like that, it is present everywhere, unchangeable and immovable. This is what Mataji in the last class we said. Because the Yamatudas, they bring the rope because the soul is
Yeah.
immovable. So, they have to remove the soul by using the rope because the soul
Rope
is immovable. It is not
attached to
very
the, yeah.
easy for the soul to leave the body
Leave.
because the soul identifies itself with the current body. So, it's not very easy for the soul to leave the present body and go. So it is also said that the soul is invisible. As we know, the size is very, very small. Krishna
Small.
says, Andantarastha Paramanu Chayantarastham. I am present in each and every atom. The scientists say atom is invisible. Then the soul can also be present within the atom. That means how small it is. Inconceivable. We cannot conceive it in our materialistic way. Very, very difficult. It is unimaginable. We cannot even imagine, right? Can you imagine a
Mm.
particle as small as the size of 1 by 10,000th time of the tip of the hair? It is
No.
unimaginable and immutable. Knowing this, you should not grieve for the body. Now, in the following sloka, so far Krishna was talking all about the soul and everything. So today's sloka, particularly Krishna will also talk. This is one sloka in Bhagavad Gita where Krishna is also talking for the atheists who do not have any belief in the soul, presence of soul. Even for them, Krishna is giving certain uh, realizations about why Arjuna should not lament. Why is Krishna telling all these things to Arjuna? Because Krishna is trying to convince Arjuna to fight in
Fight.
the battle.
Battlefield.
That is the reason why Krishna is talking about the characteristics of the soul in different angles so that he can convince Arjuna to fight. So
Fight.
in this sloka, he is also talking to Arjuna in terms, even if he does not believe in the soul, still he should not lament. So let us do today's sloka. Ata chainam nityajatam
अथ
अथ
चैनं
चैनं
नित्यजातं
नित्यजातं
nityam va manyase matam
नित्यं वा
नित्यं
मन्यसे मृतम्
मृतं
tatapi tvam mahabaho
तथापि
तथापि
त्वं महाबाहो
महाबाहो
nainam sochitum arhasi.
नैनं
नैनं शोचितुम्
सोचितमर्हसि
अर्हसि
Ata chainam nityajatam
अथ
अथ
चैनं
चैनं
नित्यजातं
नित्यजातं
nityam va manyase mritam
नित्यं वा
नित्यं वा
मन्यसे
मन्यसे
मृतम्
मृतं
tatapi tvam mahabaho
तथापि त्वं
तथापि त्वं
महाबाहो
महाबाहो
nainam sochitum arhasi.
नैनं
नैनं
सोचिति
शोचितुम्
अर्हसि
अर्हसि
Ata chainam nityajatam
अथ
अथ
चैनं
चैनं
नित्यजातं
नित्यजातं
nityam va manyase mritam
नित्यं वा
नित्यं वा
मन्यसे
मन्यसे
मृतम्
मृतम्
tatapi tvam mahabaho
तथापि त्वं महाबाहो
नैनं शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि.
Who wants to do this, Loka?
Mat- yeah.
Please do, Mataji.
अथा चैनं नित्यजातम्
अथ
अथ
चैनं
चैनं
नित्यजातं
नित्यजातं
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतम्
नित्यं
नित्यं
वा
वा
मन्यसे मृतं
तथापि त्वं महाबाहो
तथापि त्वं महाबाहो
महाबाहो
नैनं शोचितुमर्हसि
नैनं
नैनं
शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
शोचितुमर्हसि.
I'll read forward, Mata.
Yeah, word to word translation.
Word to word. Artha. Atha. If, however, cha. Also, enam. The soul. Nityam. Chatam. Always born. Nityam. Forever. Va. Either. Manyase. You so think. Pratam. Dead. Tathapi. Still. Tvam. You. Mahabaho. O mighty armed one. Na, never, enam, about the soul, sochitam, to lament, arhati, deserve.
Yeah, translation.
If however you think that the soul or the symptoms of life will always be born and die forever, you still have no reason to lament, O mighty armed.
Thank you, Mataji. नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति विकास स्वामी नामिने नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णप्रस्थाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So here Krishna is talking to Arjuna. So far he has been talking about several characteristics of the soul. Now he is talking something, even if somebody thinks, that the soul is something that which will be born or which will be die, like how it is happening to our body, right? We are repeatedly born and we are repeatedly die, which means there's nothing called the soul exists. That means even the soul is not eternal. The soul also continuously takes birth and continuously dies. So you still have no reasons to lament. So atachainam nitya jatam. Nitya jatam means always born. Nityam va manyase mritam, and always dies. So even if you think the soul always born and always die, still you don't have to lament. Oh mighty arm. But here there is one particular word Krishna is using to Arjuna. What is that? Mahabaho. Mahabaho means what? Mighty armed. So he is saying to Arjuna that, you're not a normal person, like you're not an atheist. You are a Mahabaho. So he's just giving a thing that, but Arjuna, I don't think so. You will be, convinced by such kind of the philosophy because you are a very mighty and intelligent person.
Okay.
So different kinds of philosophers. Mataji, please read these sentences.
There is always a class of philosophers, almost akin to the Buddhists, who do not believe in the separate existence of the soul beyond the body.
So we saw
When
that even within this material world, we see that there are people with different philosophy. The Buddhist people, what do they think? They think that there is no existence of soul beyond the body. They just think that, you just have to come out of the body and go to nirvana. So they do not believe in the existence of the soul. So these are some of the philosophers, and it looks like such kind of philosophers existed even during the time of Kurukshetra when Krishna was present. Not only now, such philosophy existed much earlier.
and
Yeah. Continue.
when
Mataji.
Lord Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita, it appears that such philosophers existed, and they were known as the Lok Lokatikas and Vaibhasikas.
Yes, Buddhism came like some 2,500 years ago, approximately. So, but Krishna spoke Bhagavad Gita like something like 5,000 years back. So even during at that time, there were philosophers like Lokyatikas and Vaibhashikas who had a similar philosophy like how the Buddhist talks. They do not believe in the existence of soul. They think that, this body is all in all. So everybody is taking shelter of something. People go to this God, people go to that God. Everybody approaches God, but generally, why do we go? Because we are all having some suffering in our day to day life, right?
Hmm.
Adhyantika nivritti. So, what do we want is we want to come out of the sufferings because the suffering is not very easy for us, right? Christians, they also go to the church and they pray that, oh God, give me my daily bread, right? I don't know if you have been studied in any convent schools, if you have been doing the Christian prayers. This is one of their prayers, like to give the daily bread.
Yes,
That's what they
Mataji.
pray. So give me the daily bread. So everybody goes, people go, oh, you're having some suffering. So you're praying to God, to help you to get out of the sufferings. Adhyatika nibriti. So we are trying to come out of the sufferings. But what does Krishna consciousness do? That is also help you to come out of the sufferings. But here Krishna consciousness is helping us to come out of the real sufferings of the world, to come out of the sufferings permanently. What are the real problems of the life? Birth,
Birth,
death,
Birth, death,
death,
old
old
age,
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 and
and
disease.
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 Apart from that, we have threefold miseries: Adhyatmik, Adi Bhautik, and
Adbhautik.
Adi
Bhautik and
Daivik. The
Atik.
three types of miseries. So, Krishna consciousness is also helping us to come out of the miseries. We are also understanding that we are all suffering in the world. We are also seeing that why am I not be able to be happy in this world? Everybody is looking for happiness in the world because why is that so? Because that is the nature of the soul. Sat Chit Ananda Vigraha. Sat means eternity. Chit means knowledge. And Ananda means bliss. So this is the characteristic of the soul. Therefore, the soul is always looking for joy, for bliss. But are we able to get in this particular world? We do not get, but we are keep on trying. So Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam, these Shastras help us to understand our real goal of life and to get the eternal bliss. So, such philosophers maintain that life symptom takes place at a certain mature condition. So, they say that, there are Lokyatikas and Vaibhashikas. So, life symptoms is a combination of matter. They think, under certain condition, the matters they come together and they undergo some physical and chemical changes. And with that changes, a life is formed. That's what the modern scientist says, the Darwin theory. Anybody could remember the Darwin's theory of evolution? What did he say? Under certain condition, the chemicals came together and then that chemical became the first living entity called amoeba, right? He said that all life started with a unicellular organism. And slowly, by the process of evolution, we have evolved up to the stage of a human being. So, even if that is true, if the evolution is true, so when the mighty ones, so then the previous species should not exist, right? When you're already evolved, then how does the previous species exist? When monkeys have already evolved into human beings, then the monkey species should not exist.
Mhm.
Why are they still existing? So Bhagavad Gita also talks about evolution, but this evolution is in terms of the soul, not in terms of the body.
Body.
So
Body.
there is a spiritual journey. Every living entity undergoes 84 lakh species of life. We are transmigrating. Therefore, in the end, we are given an opportunity to have a human form of life. And this particular form of life is very precious because we can understand the real meaning of the life. We can understand the purpose of the life. We can understand why we are suffering and we can try to find out the permanent solutions for our life, unlike the other species. So where the evolution is there, so all the species, they continuously exist. It's not that earlier only the amoeba exists and nothing else exists, then the other species gradually came. No. Even there are textbooks like in CBSE, they have removed the Darwin's theory of evolution now because it is all based on speculation. There is no even a scientific evidence for that. So recently, like I think 2, 3 years back, NCRT has removed the Darwin theory. But everything the scientists they try to give some reason for our existence. Like they say, how is the world formed? How is the universe formed? Due to Big Bang, right? Big Bang theory. We all learned, right, in our school days in the ninth grade physics like that. How did the universe came into? There was something which existed in the zero volume, and that particular thing exploded, and that big explosion has caused numerous universe and numerous thing, and from that, a beautiful planet like Earth has come up. So even mathematically, something that is zero volume cannot even exist. But they just want to give some theory because they want to give some existence for the our presence. How did we come? But they don't want to refer to the Shastras. They don't want to refer to the Vedas. They just want to do out of their own speculation. Beliefs of modern science. Mataji, please continue.
Such philosophers maintain that life symptoms take place at a certain mature condition of material combination. The modern material scientists and materialist philosophers also think similarly. According to them, the body is a combination of physical elements, and at a certain stage, the life symptoms develop by interaction of the physical and chemical elements. The science of anthropology is based on this philosophy. Currently, many pseudo religions now becoming fashionable in America are also adhering to this philosophy and are in the nihilistic, non devotional Buddhist sects.
So we can see that under certain condition, the chemicals they come together and the living symptoms, life symptoms develop. So if that is the case, can we even manufacture a mosquito in the laboratory?
No.
No.
Can we even manufacture an insect in the laboratory? So we can mix some chemicals and we can make a living entity. No, we cannot create any living entity. We cannot even manufacture an egg. We cannot manufacture anything because, and there is a beautiful book written by Srila Prabhupada. It is not, it is all the conversations which Prabhupada had with his disciples and many other people called Life Comes from Life, where Prabhupada has given one full book based on this concept that the life does not come from the matter, the life comes from life, not
Life.
from the matter, right?
Mhm.
So, can you make a baby in the laboratory?
No,
No.
Mataji.
Cannot make a baby in the laboratory unless otherwise there is a living force, a new living entity cannot be created. No matter whatever you do, that is impossible for us to do. But what does the scientist say that the entire existence came because of mixing of the chemicals, right? So
Mhm.
that is their understanding. And we see today many people, if you're talking to them, they have an atheistic view, and you talk to them about God, and they don't want to believe. And they talk in terms of karmavadis. What does the karmavadi says? The karmavadi says that just be honest, be moral, and do your duty. So,
Duty.
what is mean by morality? There is no morality without Krishna. It's, for example, we see Prabhupada also given this example in one of his classes. So, group of thieves, they stole some money, and they were trying to divide it among themselves. And one of the thief is saying that, please have justice, please be moral in dividing the money. Is there any morality there? If they had any morality, first of all, they shouldn't have stolen the money.
Yeah.
So already the money that they got is without the morality. And what is the use of speaking about morality in dividing the money? Right? So this is what it is. Unless otherwise we read the Shastras, we do not know what is morality. People eat animals saying that there is no soul present in the animal. So if that is the thing, and they say that they are checking the population of the animals, and they say that they are moral, so is it considered to be moral?
No.
So
Mm.
these are the things that, unless otherwise you're reading the Shastras, unless otherwise you read the scriptures, you will not have a proper understanding. Yasyasma bhuktir bhagavat akinchana sarvair gunai tatra ramante. So in Bhagavatam, there is a sloka which says as, the one who is a devotee of the Lord, all the good qualities automatically manifest in that particular person. Haro abhakta kuto mahan guna. But if somebody is not a devotee, kuto mahan guna, what good qualities he has? Because manorate nati, he is acting on a mental plane. So you cannot have any good qualities or any morality unless otherwise we become the devotees of Krishna. In Isha Upanishad, the very first sloka says that Isha Vashyam idam sarvam. Everything belongs to the Lord. Both animate and inanimate, everything belongs to the Lord. So in a way, whatever we are using is not our property. It is
Yeah.
all
No.
given by Krishna. The sun works according to the direction given orders of the Krishna. In Brahma Samhita, Lord Brahmaji says that Yat Chakshuresh Savita Sakala Grahana. So the sun also moves under the direction of Krishna only. So without sunlight, can there be any living thing that is exist? Can there be any plants? Can there be any vegetation or anything?
No.
There's
No.
nothing that exists. So everything is happening. The raw materials are provided by Krishna only. The factories may produce chemicals, the factory may produce various tools, but without the raw materials, will they be able to produce anything? They cannot manufacture everything, right, without the raw materials. So suppose a carpenter, he has come to your home and he made a beautiful furniture. And while leaving, he takes the furniture and go. Will you allow him to take it and go? He
No.
says
No.
that I am the one who made it. So let me take and go. So we are doing the same thing today. All the materials is given by Krishna, and we are manipulating, and we made different materials and different things out of it. And then we say that all the thing belongs to us.
Me.
We are the
Yes.
one who made everything, right? So that is
Yeah.
also, so what can be a morality without the presence of, without understanding that to whom everything belongs to? Like the thieves fighting among themselves for morality of dividing the money, we are like that. We are already the thieves, right? That's what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita in the third chapter, that everything, the food also should be offered in sacrifice. Otherwise, we are just the thieves and we are eating only the sin, because we are not acknowledging the real owner of the things, right? So, no cause for lamentation. Why? Now, why Arjuna should not lament? Mataji, please continue to read.
Even if Arjuna did not believe in the existence of the soul, as it is, as in the Vaibhashika philosophy, there would still have been no cause for lamentation. No one laments the loss of a certain bulk of chemicals and stops discharging his prescribed duties. On the other hand, in modern science and scientific warfare, so many tons of chemicals are wasted for achieving victory over the enemy.
Okay,
According
so
to the
yes, Mataji, we'll just stop here. So there's,
yeah,
who will lament for the loss of the chemicals, right? Suppose there is a big building and that building has to be demolished for redevelopment. Will anybody lament for because that building has been demolished?
no,
You will
No.
not lament, right? It is
no,
because just the chemicals have changed, because like the law of conservation of energy says what, that energy can neither be created nor be destroyed, can be only changed from one form to another. So
Mm-hmm.
no,
energy is always there. So similarly, even if that is the philosophy, that why should you even lament? It is just the change of the chemicals or change of the thing, but everything will remain. So this should not be a problem. Even if you think that, if Bhishma or if Dronacharya and everybody, they are just the body and they will be born. So it is just the laws of chemicals and they will have another chemicals that is coming up. So why do you have to worry? So we are saying that Krishna is trying to explain Arjuna in all the angles that why he should fight in this war. Okay. No.
According,
Vaibhashika philosophy, yeah.
according to the Vaibhashika philosophy, the so-called soul or Atma vanishes along with the deterioration of the body.
So what
So
do they say? They see that the Atma stays as long as we are alive, the Atma is there. Once we die, the Atma also vanishes
die,
because they do not believe in the eternity of the soul. They feel that the soul also dies. This
die,
is the Vaibhashika philosophy which existed even during the time when Krishna was there.
die.
So, conclusion.
So, in any case, whether Arjuna accepted the Vedic conclusion that there is an atomic soul or he did not believe in the existence of the soul, he had no reason to lament. According to this theory, since there are so many living entities generating out of matter every moment, and so many of them are being vanquished every moment, there is no need to grieve for such incidents. If there were no rebirth for the soul, Arjuna had no reason to be afraid of being affected by sinful reactions due to his killing his grandfather and teacher. But at the same time, Krishna
Mataji will just stop
sarcastically,
here. We will
yeah,
just go in the next line. So here it is, Krishna is trying to say that Arjuna should not lament, even if he is having a philosophy like Vaibhashika philosophy, who think that, the soul also vanishes with the deterioration of the body. There is no reason to lament because we see that there are numerous living entities generating every moment. We also see so many living entities are born every minute and so
yeah.
many living entities are also dying every moment.
Mm.
So this things keeps happening. The birth and death, they keep happening. And there's no need to grieve for such incidents. They come and they go. Birth, death, they happen. So even if there is no rebirth, then also considering, even if we consider them to be the chemicals and not the thing, this is just going to be the change of the chemicals. So therefore, Arjuna should not lament and should not be worried about the sinful reactions of killing the grandfather and the teacher, because
Teach.
if you're mixing two chemicals and a new chemical is formed, that is not a great grievance you're doing, right? So here also, if you're been a reason for a chemical change, that is also you don't have to worry, because one of the reasons why Arjuna did not want to fight was he was also fearful of the sinful reactions of fighting against his own teachers and grandfather, because we
Grandfather.
saw that in the earlier Vedic culture, even with the elderly people, we are not even supposed to talk to them in a loud voice. They are respectable. The teachers and the grandparents and the elderly people are respectable. So, what in case you're killing that people? Arjuna felt that it was abominable to kill such people. So Krishna is trying to convince him, saying that he does not have to lament for such a change. Okay. Yes, Mataji, continue.
But at the same time, Krishna sarcastically addressed Arjuna as Mahabahu, mighty arm, because he at least did not accept the theory of the Vaibhashikas, which leaves aside the Vedic wisdom. As a Kshatriya, Arjuna belonged to the Vedic culture and it behooved him to continue to follow its principles.
So, but what about Arjuna? He is a Kshatriya and he is born under the Vedic culture. So he is just sarcastically, again, he is calling him Arjuna, but I don't think so, such a theory or philosophers will not affect you, right? So now, for example, we are all practicing Krishna consciousness, we are chanting, we are reading the Shastras and everything. And some people might also give different views and different opinion about whatever we are learning. So if we are very steady, will we be affected with whatever the thoughts and views that they are putting it on our head?
No.
No,
If we are believing, if we are having firm faith in the words of Krishna, will we get deviated by their talks?
No.
We should not get
No, Mataji.
deviated because we should have the firm faith in the words of Krishna.
Krishna.
So Arjuna belongs to what culture? Vedic
Yeah.
culture. Who is Arjuna? The son of Kunti, son of Pandu. And he is coming, Bharata, he is coming from a great lineage. And somebody who is coming from a great lineage, will they be affected by such a atheistic philosophy?
No.
No.
Actually should not. Even though Krishna has given, particular words, particular thing for an atheist, considering that if you do not believe on the existence of the soul, therefore still you don't have to lament. But that particular thing, Krishna did not expect Arjuna to believe in it. Okay. So we can only see that even one sloka which Krishna spoke for atheists in Bhagavad Gita, there also in the second line, did he accept those words? Why did he use the word Mahabahu? Because he does
Yeah.
not want Arjuna to accept this philosophy, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is Bhagavad Gita. So even one verse also Krishna has not particularly given for atheists completely with a complete conviction. And today even in the market we see that I saw one edition of Bhagavad Gita in the airport which says that Bhagavad Gita for an atheist.
Huh.
So many kind of concoctions and mental speculations and everything, even on scriptures like Bhagavad Gita. When Krishna clearly said that Bhaktyamam abhijanati yavan yasyasmi tatvata, only my devotees can understand me. And he said, Manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namastu mame veshati tevam atmanam atparayanam. Always think about me, become my devotee, offer my obeisances and worship me. When all the thing Krishna is saying and saying Sarvadharman parityacha mamekam sharanam
Ekam
praja
saranam
aham
bhaja.
tvam sarva papebhyo.
Papepyo moksha
All these things
shishyami.
are meant for an atheist. So how can they even bring a version of Bhagavad Gita for an atheist? So that is the today's world. Even people may say that, I am reading Bhagavad Gita, but you also should check with them what edition of Bhagavad Gita they are reading. Because it so happened once during the book distribution, one of the person said that he is already reading Bhagavad Gita and he has Bhagavad Gita with him in his bag. So I told him, can you please show me the edition of Gita you have? And he had an edition of Gita which is almost like that of an atheist and not coming through parampara, somebody just talking about Bhagavad Gita on just how to live, how to manage your time in the life. Yes, Krishna did speak about this, but that's not the only reason we read Bhagavad Gita, right? The main thing of Bhagavad Gita is Krishna says that Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadi Dukkha Doshanu Darshanam. Krishna says that birth, death, old age, and disease gives us the pain. So Bhagavad Gita is for us to come out of the cycle of repeated
Repeated birth and death.
Birth and death.
and Krishna is saying, Mam ekam sharanam vraja, ham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masuja. Krishna is saying that I will give you liberation. Do not fear. So Krishna is talking more and more about coming to his planet and getting liberated because we, the living entities, the majority of the living entities are present only in the spiritual world. According to the Shastras, 90% of the living entities are in the spiritual world because that is our original constitutional position. Like in a city, if you say, how many people will be living in the prison house and how many people are living normally like us? A very small number of people live in the prison.
In the prison. Yeah.
So similarly, this material world is also a prison house because we are all bound by our three modes of nature. Sattva gun, Rajogun or Tamogun. Many times we know that what we are doing is wrong, but are we able to control our senses? Are we able to act accordingly? Are we not prisoners of our own thoughts and our own mind?
Yeah, Mataji.
Many times it happens, no? So, what is the real freedom? There is no real freedom because we are anyway bound by our own modes of nature. Because each and every living entity is a criminal here. Because somebody may be an A class prisoner, somebody may be a B class prisoner, somebody may be a C class prisoner, but a prisoner is a prisoner.
Yeah.
Like we, the human entities, living beings, are like A-class prisoners. We have more facilities to manipulate the nature than what the animals can do. In a way, if you see that they are much better than us, they do not, digress the nature, right? They go with the nature, right? Have you ever seen a lion taking a food which is not allotted to it? Even the
No.
animals, they follow their dharma very properly. They do not
Properly. Yeah.
go beyond their boundary lines. What is allotted to them, they don't transgress the nature. But we, the human beings, what are we doing? We are even transgressing the nature. Everything, each and everything in the world, we are trying to manipulate in such a way that they become useful to us, right?
Us.
We are even taking out the habitat of so many animals, right? Or the
Yeah.
animals taking out our habitat? No. But we are
No.
taking out their habitat.
Habitat.
So in a way, we see that we are even worse than an animals. Although Shastra says, Ahara Nidra Bayamaitu Nacha Samanya Metam Pashubinarana. Eating, sleeping, mating, defending, it is the same for humans and animals. Dharmohi Tesha Madiko Vishesho. It is the dharma that differentiates us from being an animal. Dharmena Hina Pashubinarana. Without dharma, we are a two-legged animal. That is what the Shastra says. So a human being minus dharma is considered to be animal or even
Animal.
worse than an animal, right? So this is what this thing is saying. So Arjuna is being called as Mahabahu. We see very beautifully Krishna uses different names for Arjuna, right? And Arjuna also uses different names for Krishna. He calls him as Rishikesha, many different names, right? Arjuna is also giving to Krishna, and Krishna is also, so far, Arjuna was called as Prita, Bharata, Kaunteya. So, according to the situation, he is called in different name to help him understand his real position, right? So let's just quickly discuss the purport. So we saw that even in those days, during the times of when Krishna was there, we saw that such philosophers exist. And there was one philosopher called Charvaka Muni, and he was also having a philosophy saying that beg, borrow, or steal, but enjoy the life, because this life is one all in all. Whatever you do in this life, however you want to enjoy your senses or everything, this is one lifetime which is allotted to you. So beg, borrow, and steal, and you enjoy. So these kind of philosophers existed even in the early ages, right? Today we see in the world many people have that, no, they think this body is all in all, and whatever you want to do, somehow or the other you enjoy your
Enjoy.
life, right? Today borrow is very easy. Banks are always ready to give you the loans,
Loan.
but at that time when you take loan you're happy, but when you pay back it is not easy, because you're paying multifold amount of what you have borrowed, right?
Already
And you're
got it.
becoming debted forever. So we do not understand. So we see that that kind of philosophers existed, and they are always existing also. So examples of philosophies in this category are the Buddhist philosophy, who believe in voidism, and they just believe in nirvana and getting out of everything. But we do have desires, right? Desire is also one of the nature of the soul. We can't be desireless, but we can use our desires in fulfilling the senses
Understanding
of
Yeah.
Krishna. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is what we have to do. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tat paratvena nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakti yuchyate. By serving the senses of Rishikesha, who is the master of senses, Krishna, our senses will automatically be purified. Like you want to eat something nice. Nobody stopped you from eating. Make it, offer it to Krishna, and have
And
it
then
as a prasadam.
Prashadam.
So everything we want, we can use it, but please acknowledge who has given us everything, and then we can do it. So because of our education qualification, because of our karma, whatever it is, some of us are living in a better condition. We are having a better life, better jobs and everything. So what are we supposed to do? We have to acknowledge by using the portion of whatever income we are getting it in the propagation of the Krishna consciousness. Therefore, by doing that, what is happening to our money? our money also gets purified. We have to purify our talk. We have to purify our money. We have to purify our mind by chanting. So everything we have to purify it. And we saw Lokyatika and Vaibhashikas, philosophers who do not believe in the existence of the soul, who just thought that the soul or the living entity came in existence because of mixing of few chemicals. And modern material scientists and materialistic philosophers, they have similar theory, like how the Lokyatikas and Vaibhashikas had, but they just have a different names. But the philosophy is more or less the same. And science
Same.
of anthropology, what does it say is that, you know, how the chemicals have come into existence and how the living entity has come because of the mixing of certain chemicals which has
Chemicals.
undergone some physical and chemical changes. And in the end, Krishna is what? Why is Krishna talking everything like this to Arjuna? Because he wants Arjuna to overcome the lamentation and material compassion. Because Arjuna is thinking that how can I kill my own people?
People.
So to overcome that, to overcome his lamentation, Krishna is talking to Arjuna in many different angles. So we can see that how nice Krishna is giving us Bhagavad Gita, right? It's very beautifully he has given, and he has given very equivocal status. Even in the end, Krishna said, Yadichanti tat kuru. Almost he spoke 700 slokas to Arjuna, speaking everything. In the end, Krishna did not force Arjuna to do what he wants. He said, whatever you want, you do it. Yet ichchati. Whatever you desire, you do. So Krishna is not forcing any one of us to do anything. He has given us. But ultimately it is up to us to take the teaching. But what did Arjuna say? Nashto moha. All my doubts got cleared. All my this thing got cleared because Arjuna is a friend. He's Bhaktosi me sakacheti, and he could understand the principles given by Krishna. Therefore, to understand the teachings of Bhagavad Gita, we understand that we have to become a devotee. Without being a devotee of Krishna, it is very difficult for us to understand Bhagavad Gita. So for that, what all the things we do? 9 process of devotional service: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnum, Smaranam, Padasevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atma, Nivedanam. Shravanam, we have to hear.
Here.
The first thing, it starts all with hearing. Without hearing about Krishna, how we are here? We heard about Krishna, that hearing is the one which has got the transformation in our life. So hearing is very important. Prabhupada says that just by hearing, one can come out of all kind of, our anarthas can come out just by hearing about Krishna. Even in the 7th chapter, beginning of the 7th chapter, Krishna is talking about the importance of hearing. Maya sakta manapartha yogam yunjanmadashraya asamshayam samagram mam yata nasyasi tachrunu. So please hear. Hearing is a very important. Shravanam, Kirtanam. We have to chant Krishna's name.
Chant.
Smaranam. When Shravanam and Kirtanam is there, Smaranam will automatically start.
Automatically come.
Pada Sevanam. Serving the lotus feet of the Lord. Archanam. We are all doing puja. Vandanam. Prayers we can do anytime, any place. Dasyam. Becoming the servant of Krishna.
Servant
Like
of
how
Krishna.
Hanuman was a servant of Krishna. He wanted whatever Rama said, he just did it. He did not say, should I do this? Can I do something else? When Rama said, bring Sanjeevani booty, he bought the entire mountain. He did not say, Rama, tell me something that is very near to me. I can't go that far. Right? Today, the world is like that. Even if the teacher says the students, do something, what does the student say? They just don't want to accept what the teacher says. They say, give me something that is more simple. That's something more easy for us to do. But Arjuna did not do. Sakyam, Arjuna, and Gopas and Gopis, and Atmanivedanam, Bali Maharaj. We just have that Vamana Dvadasi and Onam, where Bali Maharaj has come, and he has given us the complete surrender. Bali Maharaj. Though Vamana, by trickery, he has removed everything from him. But Bali Maharaj did not lament for that. He gave away everything in the end. For the 3rd step, he gave his own head.
Own head.
His own head. And what in return Krishna gave him? He became the doorkeeper. of the Sutala planet. And it is said that the Sutala planet, even though it is a lower planetary system, it is more opulent than the Swargaloka also, because the Lord has become the doorkeeper. So one should not get worried about giving to Krishna. What in case I give to Krishna, I will become poor or anything. But Krishna is always reciprocal. For whatever Bali Maharaj gave, Krishna gave multifold times to Bali, right? Which becoming a doorkeeper. Who can become, right? Even we can't become a doorkeeper of our own home. Correct? We need somebody to take care of our home. And Krishna is doing that for Bali Maharaj. So these are the 9 principles of devotion. Now, 9 activities. We should try to engage ourselves in one of these activities. Every moment we can be engaged in the devotional service of Krishna, at least by smarana, by remembering Krishna all the time. Okay. Hare
Yes.
Krishna. And just a
Hare
Hare
small
Krishna.
thing, today is also the lunar eclipse.
Yeah.
I think it's starting around 8:30 here in the Bombay time. So during the lunar eclipse time, the most auspicious thing is chanting the holy names of Krishna. Whatever, even one round of chanting you do in the time of eclipse that you do is equivalent to 100 rounds of chanting. So try to engage your eclipse time as much as possible in hearing and chanting of Krishna. Apart from that, you can follow your normal forms for the thing. You know, you close your puja room and you put darpa in all the thing. Whatever the rituals you follow, your regular thing for the Grahana time, you can do that. And because it is ending at 2 o'clock, right? 2 or 2:30, I think. So it may not be immediately possible for us to stay awake, but generally during the Grahana time, we are not supposed to sleep. But this time, because the Grahana is coming in a very odd time, and I know next day is Monday, most of us have to go to work and other thing. So try to be awake as much time as possible, chant, and when you wake up tomorrow immediately, please take bath and do all your other activities. Clean the home, bath, and do all your other activities. Okay. Any questions regarding the Grahana or anything about today's class?
What do you do normally, Mastaji, during this time? What is a
That's
normal
what I
routine?
do. The main thing is we can close the puja room at that
Okay.
time and offer
Huh.
dharpa in all
Huh.
the foodstuffs and
Food
everything.
stuff. Huh.
And then everything. And then, do more of chanting. I chant a
Huh.
lot during the time of Grahana. If a Grahana is there for entire 2-3 hours also, I keep chanting. And once the Grahana is over, take a bath, take a shower and clean the home and do your regular duties. So
Okay.
the most advisable thing during the Grahana time is to chant.
Chant.
Even during the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared, it was a lunar eclipse. And everybody were chanting Hari, 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 Hari. Even the Muhammadins, they were also chanting. And that is the time when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Even during his appearance, they were all chanting his names, Hari. So the name of Krishna is very powerful. Kalikale Namarupe Krishna Avatar. He has descended himself in the form of his holy name. And Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Krishna's name is like a Chintamani stone, can fulfill all our desires. So the name of the holy name is very, very auspicious. And let us try to chant. Here you can read Shastras, you can read Bhagavad Gita, you can read Srimad Bhagavatam. You can do all the spiritual activities other than just serving your altar. We can do. Try to engage as much as possible, as much your health permits for you to stay awake, because this particular period can be made most suitable for us. Like, making the best out of the thing you can make. Okay, Mataji. So, and also today is also the Bhadra Purnima, the Advent day of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, those who are having Srimad Bhagavatam set, you can place it in a throne and you can offer Aarti and Puja, because today is the day where Bhagavatam advented. And those who do not have Srimad Bhagavatam set, it's a very, very auspicious day to invite Srimad Bhagavatam, because even in Bhagavatam, Krishna has mentioned that those who are gifting Bhagavatam on this day of Bhadra Purnima will reach the supreme destination. So, like a rope, Krishna is giving us Bhagavatam. All we need to do is just catch hold of the rope and go back to the spiritual world. So, today's day is a very, very auspicious day, being the Bhadra Purnima. and also the lunar eclipse, which is not considered to be auspicious, but it can be made auspicious by our spiritual activities. They are like a bumper thing, like a lottery. You can get more benefits by chanting in the lunar eclipse than on a regular days. Okay, Mataji. Any other
Yeah.
questions regarding this? All clear, Mataji, today?
Yeah.
Was this
Yes,
sloka clear?
yes,
Yeah,
Mataji.
Mataji.
We'll do the Namaste Narsimhaya. Namaste
Namaste
Narasimhaya Daladayine Danyakashipurvashaka Shilatankanakalaye Ito Nasimha Parato Nasimha Yato Yato
Toyami tato
Nasimha
Narasimham
Narasimha
Mahita
Hridaye Narasimha
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 Narasimha Charanam Prabhate
Prabhakar Kamalahayinaka Adbhuta
Adbhuta
Shringa
Shringar
Dalita
Dalitam Hiranyakashipu Tanubringa
Keshavadra
Vishwavadra
Hari
Narahari Rupa
Jai
Jaya
Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare
Hare
Jaya
Jaya
Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare
Hare
Jaya
Jaya
Jagadish
Jagadish
Hare
Hare
Jaya
Narasimhade Jaya Narasimhade Jaya Narasimhade
Jaya
Jaya Narasimhade
Jaya
Jaya
Prahlad Maharaj
Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad Maharaj Jaya Prahlad
Jaya
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 Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada
Prabhupada Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Jaya Prabhupada
Prabhupada.
Jaya
Jaya Jaya
Gurudev
Gurudev, Gurudev, Gurudev. Jaya
Jaya
Jaya.
Jaya Gurudev
भक्ति विघ्न विनाशक नरसिम्हा भगवान की जय
Ki
भक्त
Jai
प्रहलाद महाराज की जय
Jaya.
Jai
प्रभुपाद की जय निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल
Bol.
Hari Hari
करुभ्यश्च कृपा सिंधु
Kripa Sindhu Bhayyevacha Patitanam
पतितानां
Pavane
पावनेभ्यो
Vaishnavebhyo
वैष्णवेभ्यो
Namo Namaha
अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय
Prabhupada Ki Jai
आसिटिस की जय हरे कृष्णा हरे
Hare
Hare
कृष्णा.
Krishna
Krishna
So today
Mataji.
it's a very auspicious day.
Thank you.
Please engage as much as possible in the devotional activities because such days helps us to advance in devotion much faster. On the days of the appearance of the Lord, on the days of the appearance of acharyas, and on such particular days, there is an extra mercy which is flowing. So we need to make use as much as possible to engage ourselves in spiritual activities. So please try to do, apart from doing your regular activities, any free time that you have, engage completely in the activities of reading and Shravanam and Kirtanam today. Okay?
Yeah, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Krishna
Mataji
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna